Most men are absolutely terrified of any attack by a woman that sounds like it's meant to destroy his ego. Most men are terrified and become viciously angry at any statement a woman makes that sounds like it's disrespectful. This is a huge mistake, because the more vicious the statement is that seems to attack your ego, the more vicious the statement is that seems to disrespect you, the more potential sexual opportunity exists on the other side of that statement. The more vicious of a statement she says that seems to be absolutely and blatantly disrespectful, the more sexual opportunity exists on the other side of that statement. Why is this so? Because women evolved an instinct to test men. Any woman who didn't test men back in the old days ended up with guys that couldn't handle the real world, and they starved. Their babies starved. Because when she tests a guy, she wants to find out how well he can handle all the unexpected shit the world is going to throw at him. And in the ancient days of hunter-gatherers, the shit that the world could throw at a guy was vicious and horrific and unforgiving. And if a guy couldn't handle that stuff, there's no way he could handle the shit test a woman would throw at him. So when her instincts compel her to say vicious things to you, when her instincts compel her to say things that seem extremely blatantly disrespectful, what she's hoping you'll do is overcome those tests. Because when you overcome the worst thing she can say, that's a sign to her, or rather, that's a sign to her subconscious, a signal to her subconscious that you can handle all the shit that the world can throw at you. And if you can handle all the shit the world can throw at you, that makes her extremely sexually attractive. If you can handle all the vicious, unexpected shit the world can throw at you, that will create sexual desire that is irresistible, unconscious, and non-negotiable. If you can demonstrate to her that you can handle all the unexpected, vicious shit that the world can throw at you, that will create sexual desire in her that is unconscious, automatic, and non-negotiable. So how do you do this? How do you develop the ability to overcome whatever shit she throws at you? Step one is never take what she says seriously. If you walk through the earth expecting women to see you and suddenly recognize what you think about yourself and validate you, that is a huge mistake. Accept that women will always test you. The more she tests you, the more she's interested in you, or rather, the more her instincts are interested in you. If she's polite to you, if she's nice to you, she's not interested in you. So expect that women that are attracted to you, that women that you have a fantastic sexual potential with, will test you. Embrace that, appreciate that, accept that, and never take what she says seriously. How to overcome her test. Have a frame of confident, playful self-deprecation and the skill to linguistically reframe what she says. A self-confident, playful, self-deprecating attitude combined with the capability to linguistically reframe what she says will make you insanely attractive. No matter how vicious the thing is that she says to you, no matter how disrespectful seemingly the thing she says to you is, the more you can handle it with a self-deprecating, confident, playful, linguistic reframing capability, the more you will demonstrate that you can handle all the shit the world will throw at you, and that will create sexual interest in her that is automatic, unconscious, and non-negotiable. Now, these things take practice, but the linguistic reframes you could learn in my book, Tong Fu. There's 18 patterns, and the way to practice this is very, very simple. You take 3 or 4 of the most vicious things that you are terrified to hear from a woman, and go through the 18 patterns in the book Tong Fu, and practice reframing each one of these statements that you're terrified to hear from a woman with each of the 18 patterns, and then practice saying them in your mind until you can say them with a confident, playful, self-deprecating attitude and reframe them with these patterns. Once you do that, you're ready to go out into the world and reframe things in real time. The mistake that a lot of guys make is thinking that you need to come up with every possible thing you might imagine that she says, with the idea being that you'll get out into the world, you'll hear something that she says, and you'll say, aha, I've practiced overcoming this. Here's a pre-written pattern. Poof, there it is. This is a mistake because you are so intelligent. You are so creative. Your brain can come up with a cajillion times more statements in your mind than you'll ever hear in the world. So if you think you need to come up with every possible statement first and then reframe that and then get out into the world, you'll be stuck on the sidelines for the rest of your life. And you don't want to be stuck on the sidelines for the rest of your life, because the sidelines is a sausage party filled with dudes who are too scared to get into the game. The game is where all the pussy is. The game is where all the money is. The game is where all the action is. So all you need to do is come up with 3 or 4 of the most terrifying things you could ever hear from a woman, and then practice the 18 reframes in my book Tung Fu, and practice overcoming them. Practice in your imagination until you can confidently and playfully and self-deprecatingly reframe those things with the linguistic reframes, and that will make you ready for the world. I used to know this guy in college. This guy was the most playful, outgoing guy I'd ever met in my entire life. Every Friday morning, every Saturday morning, every Sunday morning, a different girl would leave his dorm room. This guy was the most natural player I'd ever met in my life. This guy was always in a good mood. This guy was always friendly. This guy was always laughing. You could come up with the most vicious insult and throw it at this guy, and he would come up with a reframe, a playful, self-deprecating refrain in the moment that would make everybody laugh, including the insulter. And I said, dude, how do you do that? And he said, never take what anybody says seriously, particularly women. Never take what anybody says seriously, particularly women. If you can develop the skill to reframe what everybody says in a confident, playful, self-deprecating way, you will not only get unlimited pussy, but you will get unlimited income, because that same structure, reframes, self-deprecating, humorous, confident, are the same ways to overcome sales objections. Are they to overcome pussy objections? So practice these techniques and get unlimited pussy and unlimited money. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.